Hey everybody, this is Jose Blasco. We are about to get started in just 40 something seconds. A quick hello would be a great way to confirm that you hear me. So if you don't mind, let's have a sound check. Please type on the chat box a quick hello. So that way I know you heard me. Sound is good. We are ready to get started. So we start on time. Thank you so much, everybody. We just got a few seconds and we will be on the way. Okay, almost there. 3 seconds to go. Here we go. We are live. By the way, I didn't turn on the video stream on my end. Let me do that. So I'll position myself as always in the bottom right corner of the screen so we can begin our session normally. Here we go. We are live now. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the session. Thank you for confirming. Sound is good and all is ready to get started. Today is March 29, 2021. Futures now. We're going to be looking at the markets from an intraday point of view. Active trading, looking at all type of markets. That's the beauty of trading futures. We can be exposed to indices, energy markets such as oil, metals such as gold, currency futures, all sort of things that are really powerful if you plan to be an active trader trading in a centralized exchange, okay? So before we get started, we are gonna highlight on the upper left part of the screen the disclaimer so you can read it carefully. Please read it carefully. Do not rush it, do not skip any word. It's important stuff, it's important information. It's always very, very important that you understand the risks attached to trading the financial markets because real money is involved. Okay, so the ones of you that are more experienced, of course, you know exactly what I mean. The ones of you that are newer to the markets, of course, make sure you know what you're doing when you trade. Make sure you are educated. Make sure you understand the disclaimer, etc., etc. So, plan for today. We just said hello. I just want to remind you, as every session, that we are simulcasting, which implies that depending on where you are in the world, depending if you're watching us through YouTube or Facebook or maybe our website using tradewithufos.com/live. So depending where you are at, you may have more or less video lags or delays given the nature of how videos are being broadcasted through the various distribution networks around the world. So keep that in mind so we can be well connected. And by the way, as you can see, what I just said, so basically there are two types of streams, the ones that are taking place in any of those public places. Example is YouTube, where the other type of stream that we have is the one happening privately in our website for our coaching members that are subscribed and have to log in our website to be able to enter that private video stream. So the difference between the video stream that we do in the outside world versus the one that we do in our website is very simple. There is no difference. The only difference is the duration. The video stream that we do in public spaces such as YouTube and so on has a duration of about, let's call it 30 minutes, more or less, where the video stream that we do in our private room and the website will run for the full hour. Okay, so this is how we accommodate to you guys out there, the ones of you that you are looking at trading part-time. So you could just attend the free sessions on YouTube and that's it. And that should be plenty. For the ones of you that are looking at trading, like, you want to master, and remaster how trading works, and you never got enough, and you love it, and you want to master every angle of trading and every market out there. So then, of course, you may appreciate to be subscribed as a coaching plan member, so you get access to longer duration sessions, and therefore you got more practice, more opportunities, more of everything. Okay, more quantity, same quality. We do the same in the public spaces and the private. We don't have any secret. Okay, we just approach trading professionally, and this is what we demonstrate all the time. But again, quantity may be a differential depending on what the type of trader you want to be. So we're gonna start. We're gonna look at the market. We are not gonna review any trade because because today the session is about very short-term trading. So even though as part of our agenda, we would review trades if we had something to review. We won't because the ones that I took last time in the future room are more than concluded, because there were trades that were like maybe 30 minutes, 40-minute trades. Okay, so they were short-term intraday. So that's the plan for today, everybody, and therefore I am now getting into our beautiful TradeStation, ready to identify those opportunities. Okay, and by the way, if you look at the left part of our screen here, and you were to look at what's the color that is predominant, I guess we all agree the red color is the one. Okay, so we have markets like the Russell futures, for example, which is falling 2.40 something percent. We got gold falling 1.3%. So we got significant drops in certain markets out there in the future exchanges. So today is a volatile day. Markets are moving quick, and again, we are approaching lunchtime in New York, so things may slow down a bit, but definitely opportunities should be identifiable. As we start, we have crude oil giving us a near sensible alert. So what I'm going to do is just to go ahead and load the crude oil workspace. I am also going to bring crude oil here. I'm also going to bring crude oil here with barchart.com because I need to confirm that on my chart I will be utilizing the right expiration date for the contract. Okay. How are you, Priyatmanto? It's good to see you, my friend. It's good to see everyone. So looking at crude oil, and by the way, for some mysterious reason, I'm noticing my computer is running extremely slow today. Not sure why is that. Hopefully things will stabilize and we can have a peaceful session with no technology fights. Let me see. Yeah, I'm not sure why. But anyway, so we are looking at crude oil. Barchart.com is recommending the K, meaning that this is the contract with the greatest volume. And when we look at volume and open interest, definitely the row with the K, which is May 21st, is the one with the greatest open interest and volume both. So this is the contract that we want to be trading for intraday trades, which is the K. Okay, so back to my TradeStation. And notice that from the last time I loaded this chart here in the sessions, I was still using the H. So I'm going to have to change this to @CL K21. Okay, so we are moving from the H to the K, and therefore now I will have proper charts in front of me to be able to do the planning of the trades. Okay, how are you, Tony? It's very good to see you. Very nice. Okay, so now couple more things here. Again, I'm really struggling for speed on my computer. Everything is really slow today, which is not what I want, obviously, when I am conducting the session with you guys. If you don't mind, if you give me just 1 second, I want to try to close something that may be creating a little bit of an issue. And let me see. I'm not sure this is gonna alleviate anything, but I want to try just in case, because again, we got a full hour in front of us and I want to make sure the session runs smooth. Okay. Yeah, no, it's not really helping. One of those days, I guess. Not sure. Maybe. Yeah, maybe rebooting the computer would fix the whole thing, but of course I'm not going to do it since we are already in the session. Okay, so you guys bear with me if at times it's a bit slow. So I guess that's what we got today. Okay, anyway, so looking at crude oil, if you were to look at what we have from a point of view of climate, okay, So we got a thick and red dot, meaning that the climate is confirmed to be down. So we want to be a seller of crude oil. Statistics suggest that when crude oil falls in the 15-minute time frame, typically statistics suggest that reaching 5 candles on the way down, it's not a crazy thing to expect, which is an hour and 15 minutes fall. Okay. So we are in candle number one, meaning that, if we expect the market to fall by 5 candles, and this is candle one, we can still catch, another full hour trade. 4 candles times 15 minutes. It's 1 hour, isn't it? And therefore, definitely, that's an encouraging setup for us to plan on executing a trade. Okay. Now, do we have a setup to execute the trade? Well, for us to take the trade, we would want to see the price of crude oil trading around 59. I just froze the screen and notice how we are currently trading at 56. I mean, when I unfreeze the screen, we may not be. And we are right inside of a UFO that goes from 57 to 63, being 59 in the middle. So in one hand, I would very happily say, let's go ahead, let's take the trade. But at the same time, I'm going to say we're going to pass. And the reason why we're going to pass is because while we would expect price to fall from that UFO and, help that climate to continue expanding, the issue that we have at this moment in time is that the top part of this UFO, that is 63, would actually fall within that very large UFO. And this is the type of UFOs we like the least, isn't it? Because now we are forced to place our stop all the way above 86. And next thing you know, now the risk of the trade multiplies times so many times. So while the trade may work, okay, and by the way, it turned and started going down and so on, we are not going to execute the trade because from a risk management point of view, having the stop so far away would increase too much the risk of the trade, and it makes the trade not to be worth it. Okay, while it may work very well, it's not worth it from a convenience point of view. And what I mean by convenience is convenience within risk management. Okay. So anyway, we can see a little bit of a reaction there. Also, by the way, the UFOs are gone. Well, a new UFO just formed. That's a different story now. That's a different story. You know what? We're going to take the trade using that UFO, my friends. Okay. You see, markets are dynamic. So we are now getting ready to take the trade using this particular UFO. From bottom part of this UFO is 53 and the top part is 62, which is definitely above 56. Okay, so we're gonna be planning to enter short. I need to find a target for the trade. Okay, I need to find a target for the trade. For that, I need to turn on AutoUFOs. Here we go. So be ready, guys, because we may need to rush a bit. Okay, so the target for the trade would be down here, this particular UFO, which is located at 5910. Okay, 5910, that would be the final target for this particular trade, 5910. Okay, so entry at 53. I'm just gonna enter the trade with 2 contracts. Stop goes above 62, which is 63. Safety target 43. Okay, and then the final target will be located all the way at, we said, 5910, which is beautiful to see on paper, but really the reality of reaching 5910 with an intraday move, it's not likely, isn't it? So what's going to happen very, very likely is we are just going to be we will end up trailing stop, and probably reach some other target somewhere in the middle of the move, okay, as we trail stop. But anyway, you can see here the visual. Okay, so we are relying on this particular UFO located at 6053. Stop is above at 6063, so we are risking 10 ticks. Safety target 10 ticks below, and then the final target all the way to 15 and 10. So the intention here is very simple. When price comes to the UFO, and by the way, I'm having an issue here. Told you my computer is slow today, and because of that, so I'm having difficulty to use my drawing tools I normally use. yeah, it's not reacting to my drawing tools. I'm not sure why. Okay, give me 1 second, guys. I'm sorry about that. Really, normally all of this is totally under control. Well, hopefully this is giving you a bit of time to understand the trade better, to look at the screen, etc., etc. And I'm gonna explain everything. I'm just trying to reload my drawing tools here on my end so I can explain the trade better visually speaking. But hopefully this little break is giving you the opportunity to observe the charts and understand what I've done. Okay. Okay. So I would say now it should work. So what do we have? Okay. So the expectation would be that when price comes to the UFO, it's gonna fall and keep falling. And we don't know how far it will go because it basically will depend on how much more the climate expands. So we are candle 2 out of 5. So, there's still room for this to keep falling. Okay. But again, just in case it doesn't go that far, so we have this safety target located at 60.43, where half of the trade would be closed, meaning that then if we get stopped out, then we are basically breaking even. Okay, you will not be able to lose on the trade unless price just rockets up and we just get stopped out all the way immediately. Okay, which of course could happen. That's why we have a stop, isn't it? So anyway, so the trade is in. Definitely you can see there is some momentum to the downside because as crude oil is trying to go back up, immediately is being pushed back down. So that's good to see. But again, it doesn't mean much really. We know the final result of a trade once the trade is closed. This is all about probabilities. We don't have a crystal ball. The fact that it looks good at some moment in time doesn't mean the trade is going to be successful in the end. So we need to manage our emotions and never fall into things such as hope or lack of patience or anything like that, just because those candles keep moving up and down. So you can see now it's kind of like looking like it wants to go up so we can get a feel. So now it may just plummets and fall all the way, and then we missed it. And then you may get now a bit upset, and then you get in revenge mode for the next trade. All of those things need to be under control. We need to trade with a complete, relaxed mindset, peace of mind, understanding that we are just ready to execute a trade only if the market meets our plan. And if it doesn't, there are other markets to be traded. We don't need to trade crude oil today, even though it'd be a nice one because we have it ready. We don't have to, okay? We don't have to, and our job is not to force any trade, okay? So anyway, so just waiting for whatever happens. I'll come back in a minute to check again on crude oil. You guys, if you wanna practice the trade with me, of course, just know that I am using 2 contracts. You don't need to use 2 contracts. You may use 1 contract. You may use 10 contracts. You may use real money. You may use paper money. All of those, of course, are your decisions. Make sure you know what you're doing. And if you haven't traded futures and you don't know how it works, I would say, please don't use real capital. Just use a demo account. Practice it for a while until you get to understand. Ideally, you take a course. We have courses on our website. It doesn't need to be our course. You have courses on the CME website too. So again, just know what you're doing. Okay, that's my point. Because if you're trading leverage products that move fast and you're not prepared, you'll get in trouble. Plus, you'll get emotional, which means you'll get in trouble even more. Okay, so make sure you know your stuff. While I'm waiting for the crude oil trade to define itself, I'm just going to move back to our red screen to see if anything else is available so far. And so far, it doesn't seem that anything is available here on the 15-minute time frame, because notice how we got the word hopeful, okay? And hopeful we don't trade. And here we got sensible, even though we don't have the word near, okay? So we need to wait. But since we're in waiting stages and the 8-year spread is 0.7, 0.79, the alert shows when it's 0.5 or less. Okay, those are my settings, 0.5 or less, which are the settings by default, by the way. So 0.7 is relatively close to 0.5. So since I am in waiting time, I'm going to go ahead and load the Euro futures contract as well as the Nasdaq futures contract and get prepared in case the golden alert begins flashing. Okay, so I'm just gonna load Euro futures and Nasdaq futures. So NQ and EC, just open those workspaces and go for it. Okay, and since this is loading, I will go ahead and take a sip of water if you don't mind. Here we go. So should be ready anytime. Again, my computer is running a bit slower than normal today, so apologize for that. Okay, so anyway, I have the workspaces. I want to keep an eye on crude oil to see what's happening. Well, price is now like 4 ticks away, 3 ticks away, 2 ticks away from it. We just got filled on crude oil. Okay, so if it's okay, I guess it would be better to stick with this trade for a while to see what's going to happen, and also to give you a few further instructions on what to do, because this is now the time where by the way, the trade doesn't look good because a green UFO just formed here. Okay, so this is probably the indication that the climate is about to change, or is going to change, or likely going to change. So that's really something that when this happens, it's really something against the trade. Okay, really, really something that it's killing the probabilities that we had. Basically, they are gone. Notice that the red UFO is gone, and now on top of that, now we have a green UFO. Okay, so we are now relying on the EMA located at 60.56, which is the current price, to potentially add new on-field orders, and the climate to potentially add new on-field orders, and a new red UFO may show up. Okay, so that's why I didn't close the trade. So we are going to stick with the plan. We got a stop loss. So worst case, we're going to lose $200 on the trade. It's not a big deal. So that's it. But it's not looking good because of that UFO that just showed up. Okay, so that's a fact. And if we get stopped out, I'm not going to be surprised. Okay. In any case, putting all those comments on the side, which are coming from experience, our job is not to overthink. Our job is to act based on rules. Okay. And what should you be doing now? Well, option number one, nothing, because you have your stop in place. So option number one is to do nothing at all. But what else can you do? Okay, we just got stopped out. So what else can you do? Well, I was expanding the 2-minute time frame because I was going to talk about using a time stop. Okay, and the time stop is based on time. So I was going to use the 2-minute chart to explain time stops. Okay, but I believe I will do that on the next trade, since this one is now over. Okay. Okay. Perfect. Cool. Okay, so let's continue. We just got our answer with crude oil. It's a stop out. Very likely, potentially, it's going to be a change of climate. Let's see what's going to happen. And I'm just trying to get into my other markets here. Here we go. That's the euro. So let's see what's going to happen with the euro. So with the euro, we have a climate. Let me expand. Where the climate, it's the same we had with crude oil before. So we got two dots. In the case of down climates in the 15-minute time frame, the euro is supposed to fall 7 to 8 candles. So it looks to be a more intense climate to the downside. So delighted to be exposed to it. 2 candles out of 8. We are definitely not late to the party. So what do we need to be able to enter the trade? Well, we need to find red UFOs around 1793. Okay, so I'm rounding the 2 last digits to be 93. Okay, 1793. So where is 93? How bad news? Okay, because 93 is here. Okay, and while we could be using that UFO to enter a 93, we could be using that UFO here to enter a 93. They are all overlapping each other, and the problem I have is that notice how I will need to place the stop above 94. And above 94 basically will be inside the next UFO, which forces me to put my stop above 05. Okay, 045 is 05, right? And if it's 05, well, 05 is lining up with this, with that forces me to put my stop above 12. So in other words, I have a collection of nested UFOs, okay? UFOs, overlapping UFOs. That's very powerful, because that means that the amount of on-field orders available is very significant. So certainly, I mean, it'd be really not high probability to see the euro go back up anytime soon. even though anything could happen. But from a trading point of view, okay, putting on the side the probability we have for a specific direction to occur, we need to manage our risk, right? And if your sell order is going to be here and your stop is going to be so far up all the way, so what's the issue? Well, the issue is that it's not convenient from that risk management point of view, because now your safety target is going to be so far away. The amount of contracts or lots you're gonna use to take this trade is going to be very limited, because the UFOs make the trading zone to be very, very wide. So in other words, nice to see it, Mr. Euro, but we're gonna wait a few candles to see if the trade defines itself, because in a few candles from now, that 92 value, that EMA may keep dropping. It may become like 85, and next thing you know, maybe 1 hour from now, 30 minutes from now, we have a beautiful red UFO, standing there by itself around 85, and now we can have an entry below the UFO, a stop above the UFO, and now we have this vertical limited risk, allowing us to have the entry here, the stop above, and therefore safety target very close by, and have a much more convenient trade from a risk management point of view. But we don't have it at the moment in time, so we are playing the waiting game with the euro so far. Okay. Hopefully all of this is clear. And by the way, since we started the session, I've been non-stop. So just make sure you understand that if you have questions, you should be typing, you should be asking. I'm looking at the chat boxes, and I'll be delighted to go through the answers, okay? One more thing as well, if you don't have questions, I would definitely appreciate if you could type on the chat box and let me know that all is good, even if it's just a quick 2-letter okay. That would be very appreciated from me, guys, so we are better in sync, okay? The Nasdaq, okay, so what's going on with the Nasdaq? Well, with the Nasdaq so far, at this moment in time, as we speak, we don't have a trade. Why? Well, because the current price for the Nasdaq, I'm just freezing the screen, is 82. And the climate is down, meaning we should be sellers, and we should be seller around 79. And what happens with 79, where 79 is under 82? Okay, under 82. So in other words, there is no sell on field orders, price is going up big time. We have many green UFOs forming non-stop. So again, we may be seeing a change of climate in 3 minutes time, the moment we reach 11:30 a.m. in New York. In a little less than 3 minutes time, we may see a change of climate. Okay, so we'll discuss that later on. But so far, I don't have a trade. Okay, because I would need a red UFO, and I would need it lower. Okay, around 877. That's what I would need. Okay, so what's going on? Well, I guess we are in waiting mode, at least until we reach 11:30 a.m. in New York. So again, the euro is now giving us the golden alert, but we just commented we have to wait. Nasdaq is giving us the golden alert, but we just commented we need to wait. Crude oil, is not giving us the alert anymore. Why? Because we have a negative number on the 8-year spread, indicating a potential change of climate. Okay, which we commented that by looking at the chart. So really, we were looking at the 3 charts which are relevant now, which was crude oil, the euro contract, and the Nasdaq. Okay, but relevant now may change in 1 minute and 40 seconds. Okay, so we're gonna wait patiently 1 minute and 40 seconds, guys. Watch the change of climate. I want you guys to watch carefully the table on my screen, because as we reach 11:30, you will see a lot of those golden alerts to go away, and you will see some new golden alerts show up. So it's important every 15 minutes, isn't it? So let's see if the market is kind enough to provide us with new opportunities, and we're gonna go for it. Okay, thanks so much for confirming with those okay, guys. That's appreciated. Again, 1 minute of waiting time now, and we're gonna see if anything is tradable at this moment in time. Okay, so what I want to do is I'm just gonna go ahead now, and I think it's perfect time to disconnect from the public streams. Okay, so for the ones of you that were joining us for this part-time trading, if you wish, thank you for joining me very much. It's very appreciated. We are now continuing in our private room the rest of the session, coinciding with the change of climate and